Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Welcome to DevTech 101, aka Black Mantle, as I discuss information technology, also known as IT. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about how companies fail at cybersecurity. Now, I'm going to bring up a couple of points. What I want to address is that there are key things in the cybersecurity field. And cybersecurity, to a lot of people, especially the general public, is a very boring topic. To business and business owners, it's a boring topic. But all of this is boring to the average business owner until you have a data breach or you have somebody that actually gets inside of your organization and starts destroying things, and now you're on a rampage trying to find somebody who has experience in technology to help you through these problems. Now, imagine having a home with no alarm. Someone breaks into your house, they take everything, they leave out, and you have no warning. You have no way of the police department being notified. You have no way of any indication that something happened until you got back home and see that things have been scattered and things have been taken. Then you start to look for a security alarm so that way the next time it doesn't happen again and people don't get it away. And that's how businesses and small businesses think in terms of cyber security and how it works. But in reality, security is not just an IT problem. It has to be talked about and nurtured and baked into the cultural mindset of the organization and its employees, where only IT is expected to care. So it has to be talked about more than that. So every department, no matter what you're in, whether you're in human resources or HR, finance, marketing, sales, quality assurance, wherever you are, plays a different role in the cybersecurity hygiene for the particular company. It is training that has to happen because the weakest link in an organization is the employee. It's the people that work for you. So if you're a CEO listening to this video, the weakest link in your organization is not necessarily just the computers. It is the humans that are operating those computers who start to click on things that they shouldn't. And they are so scared to notify IT when they clicked on it. The IT finds out, and then now they have to go and target that person and figure out why they clicked on the email or downloaded a zip file or something that a customer sent to them after the fact. And this is where we have to get in line, because the human error is the number one threat. No matter how much you invest in cybersecurity, no matter how much training that you do, the human error is going to be the first one that people, bad actors, are going to target. Now, phishing scams and weak passwords are a big problem because people tend to store their passwords on sticky notes or under the keyboard in an organization. Very, very big problem. People not using password managers or creating passwords at this time of day, as they say, at least 16 characters, alphanumeric, or some type of passphrase. People use those as different type of passwords. But we're at this time where employees lack training, and that is a major weak point in an organization itself. Now, what happens to end users who bring these types of issues into an organization? I've always been a stickler for this particular thing, and it's always been a pet peeve to me. But I never liked how end users plug their mobile phones into company technology to charge their phones. I do not agree with that one bit. I don't even like the fact of end users having to join the company Wi-Fi with their personal cell phones. Because here's the thing, cell phones are unprotected. Mobile devices are unprotected. The average person does not have antivirus protection on their cell phones. So you take this device that you have your personal apps on, and you have personal files on, you're transferring files with these mobile devices, your cell phone, and you're plugging them up to a company computer, and now they're connected to some key resources in the organization. Unplug them. IT professionals should definitely develop policies around this to prevent people from not only connecting phones to Wi-Fi in the corporate work environment, but also with the phones that are there and remove them out. Now, our outdated systems, if you're still using as far back as Windows 7 in organizations, sometimes workstations use Windows XP, Windows 2008, Windows Server 2008. And now Windows, at the time of this video, Windows 10 is phasing out. Windows 11 is the new thing. Mac OS 15.1 for Sequoia is out on MacBooks right now. But what happens is if companies don't have the right protocols in place, they would actually delay software updates and use unsupported versions. And now you have real world examples like Equifax, who had a breach for basically unpatched unpatched Apache vulnerabilities that were in there. But our systems have to be updated, so IT has to be on a revolving door where they are updating operating systems, testing, and then making sure it's on the end user's workstations in the environment. Do you also have a lack of incident response plan? So the average company, especially small business owners, if they were breached, happened today, they wouldn't even know. So if your company was breached, would you know, or would your company know what to do and how to handle it? It is very, very important that you go over the importance of rehearsing these particular type of breach scenarios, because if you're dealing with personal information, personal identifiable information, PII, you're dealing with PHI, personal health information and records. You're dealing with confidential documents if you deal with the federal government. But you want to make sure that you have the type of cybersecurity hygiene going on within your organization where you want to make sure that you don't just have poor password policies. Make sure you don't have shared admin accounts or no multi-factor authentication or MFA on your devices. Like, you need to start embedding these no matter how small your organization is. I always say, I don't care if you're a mom and pop shop that's a single employee solopreneur, small business to a major corporation, you need to have these type of things baked into there. Now, a lot of companies, I've talked to small business owners before, and they said, well, we don't have the money for it, we're underfunded, and they undervalue cybersecurity budgets. And so what happens is these companies often wait until a breach happens to invest in cybersecurity. Now the records have been exposed in what you have, especially if you're in the real estate market. You're dealing with a lot of people's personal and credit information and things like that. You have to talk about the methods of making sure you talk about the cost of prevention versus the cost of a breach. Hinting prevention is actually cheaper than trying to deal with the cost after the breach happens. Now, when you look at the vulnerability from the inside of the organizations, employees have too much access. When an employee moves from a department to another, for example, they're moving from customer service to marketing, they should not have still access to customer records and then still work in marketing. You have to have a separation of duties. People have to take vacation. So that way the IT team is able to look and make sure that if something is going on the table, that they are able to see it. You have to have the lack of monitoring tools that analyze the behavior, the abnormal behavior that goes on within the organization. And so make sure your employees are taking the necessary vacation that they take, and they also have the help and also adding people to your team. There shouldn't be any case where your cybersecurity team is only just a single person. You have to have a multi-person team. You have to grow this team so that way people can focus on specialties and help protect from many different angles. Then once you, of course, have that, you need to look at your compliance and the security. Like, many companies only care about meeting the minimum compliance requirements for like HIPAA, the Health Information Portability Accountability Act, or GDPR, and like the General Data Protection for what's mostly in Europe. Compliance is the floor. It is not the ceiling. Okay. There's different analogies I can use for this to help explain this. But you have to make sure that you're investing in these because it is so important. And you failing to evolve with the threat landscape is definitely going to be a problem. Because think about this. You can even look up how artificial intelligence or AI and deepfake are on the rise. So you have more people within your organization who may use AI, artificial intelligence, to help them do their job and making sure that they're not feeding actual company data into these resources because guess what? The information goes out on the back end to somebody else somewhere who may be able to extract that at some point in time in the future. So companies that don't adapt different methodologies and don't adapt to the cybersecurity landscape, they will absolutely get left behind 100%. But you have to make sure that the leadership, if the executives are not engaged, neither is the organization itself. So security should not just like security should be in the discussion in the boardroom as far as a topic and not just an IT checklist like a box you check off, but it should be happening around the clock. So overall, if you are in leadership or you work for a company, ask yourself, what role do I play in the cybersecurity landscape for the company that I work for? Because if everyone assumes some type of responsibility, or assumes that it is someone else's job, particularly, you're already at risk. So definitely like, listen, subscribe to the channel, people. DivTech 101, aka Black Mantle. Look forward to bringing more technology content to you all soon.